What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I'm the only person on the internet talking about horror movies. I watched and I ranked 211 of the horror movies that came out in 2023. And today, we are going to be counting down numbers 50 through 31. We're going to talk about some of them. We're going to breeze past the majority of them. I can't believe that we are this far in. That's what she said. So, without further ado, at number 50, El Conde. Number 49, holy shit! So if you've not heard of it, this was the best film about being stuck in a porta potty that I've ever seen. Number 48, King on Screen. This was my favorite documentary of the year. 47, Clock. 46, Candyland. Wanted more from it? Still pretty decent. All right, let's start the fights off. Number 45, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So this was another worst of the year for many of you. Let me explain. I'm not going to argue that this is a particularly good movie, but the premise, the balls to go through with this, that counts for something, right? The fact that this spearheaded a new trend in cinema counts for something. The practical effects, the innovative kills, they count for something. You can't tell me that this doesn't work because it doesn't have a good plot or compelling characters while simultaneously worshipping the sequels to like Saw or Friday the 13th. It's a fun thing to turn on and ignore, right? I implore you, turn it on, give it another chance. I promise you it's not nearly as bad as you want it to be. 44, Slaughterhouse. It's a sloth. All right, you ready to start fighting? 43, The Exorcist, Believer. Yes, it's way higher than you would have put it, but tell me, honestly, objectively, honestly and objectively, did you decide that you hated this movie before you even saw it? Did you decide that you hated this movie just based upon how much you hated Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends? All right, so don't get me wrong. The fan service is shit. The inclusion of Chris McNeil serves zero purpose, and it discredits the strengths that this movie has. And this movie does have strengths. I do feel that this is better than all three of David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, and it's a trip to think he's improving. I don't feel this is unwatchable. It's light years beneath the original. It's leagues beneath part 3. Some of you may reverse those, I'm fine with that. But are you gonna tell me this isn't better than The Heretic? You gonna tell me this isn't better than Dominion? You're gonna tell me this isn't better than The Beginning? Come on. It's middling. It's far from the top of the franchise, but get this, it's far from the bottom too. Its biggest crimes are that it plays things somewhat formulaic and that it has the guy that it's trendy to shit on at its helm. And don't get me wrong, I am pleased as fucking punch he's gone from it and that Flanagan's in the driver's seat. I wouldn't outwardly recommend it to you, but I wouldn't tell you you need to avoid this. 42, Suitable Flesh. 41, Scream 6. Right, so we're 2 down on ones where I had to justify to you why they're higher than you would have ranked them, and I know with this one I have to justify why this is lower than you ranked it. So, here goes. Preface, I am not the hugest Scream fan in the world, so I wasn't big on 5, but I felt that this was a huge leap in the right direction until the 3rd act. I loved the start. I thought that so much of this felt so fresh and inspired. It felt like Radio Silence made 5 to prove that they could do a Scream. This was their Scream. Unfortunately for me, they lost it in the 3rd act. I didn't buy into the killer reveal. I thought that it was hokey and possibly the furthest from a possibility in regards to the entire series. I think everybody agrees that it went on too long, and frankly, yeah, that's coming from a guy that's making fucking 8-minute TikToks. And for me, the nail in the coffin was the lack of nails in the lack of coffins, because we decided at the very end to just say, oh, by the way, all those people, we didn't want to kill them, so they're not dead anymore. Miracle. The routine was solid. They just didn't stick the landing. And for the record, 126, 453. Moving on. Number 40, Inside. It's horror enough. 39, Attachment. 38, Bunker. So this was a little derivative, and it doesn't have the most well-defined characters. I'll tell you that up front. But if you ever wondered what The Thing would look like if it was a war movie, this is your flick. I'd love to get more eyes on it. 37, Appendage. 36, The Third Saturday in October. 35, The Blackening. So I was loving this. This was funny, it was smart, it was well done, it had a lot to say. But I remember walking out of the theater like, I thought I was loving that. What? 34, Night of the Hunted. 33, Socks. Okay, so it was a better entry amongst the series. I loved having John and Amanda back. I loved that this was the first where you could see John as almost like a superhero type character. This has direction. This has motivation. It has the depth that the series has been lacking. That's what we all loved in it, right? So I'm excited to see where this goes. But I needed this to be less routine for this to count for something. Fair? 32, From Black. And number 31, The Mean One. So this horror retelling of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is very low budget, and it is very much held together by David Howard Thornton. Yes, this guy's performance as the Grinch. As it has been stated, I am a sucker for Christmas movies, so your mileage may vary, but I found this to be amusing. I thought it had the right balance of horror and Christmas, and I found it oddly thoughtful. This felt far less a cash-in and far more of a passion project for director Stephen Lamort and writers Flip and Finn Kobler. I refuse to believe those are real names. The filmmakers obviously loved the original story and wanted to see a darker version of it, and they went out and made it, and for the most part, this is successful. Successful enough that I gotta throw this as the first movie that I would outwardly recommend. It happened! Don't judge all of my recommendations by that. Again, I'm a Christmas junkie. Alrighty guys, you do all these things. Tell me which one of the list you disagree with the most. I'm assuming that you either wanted Scream or Saw up higher, or you thought that Winnie the Pooh and The Exorcist should have been way low. Guys, there's better and there's worse. But as always, this is all just a matter of opinion, and yours counts more than mine. So please, see them for yourselves, make your own decisions, support horror. Swipe this way for worse movies, this way for better, and if they're not there yet, then be sure to drop back tomorrow, because tomorrow, we're going to be counting down numbers 30 through 14, and then we're finishing off with the top 13 of 2023, and then we're done. Why top 13? Are you serious? See you tomorrow.